somebody with a heart attack. So your next engine was coming from Thousand Palms. So as you can imagine, it's a little delayed. So now, they strategically placed that station, which is kind of unfair because it impedes on me, but they put it on the furthest southeast corridor of the city. Well, what that means is now they run all the county calls, which is my section. I mean, we're the same people, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to them checking out jurisdictions, they run everything from Port Hill west. I run everything now from Caliente Springs all the way to Indio Hills. So I'm still your fire department. If I am tied up, they will be your next in engine. So now your next in engine is Long Canyon, not 1,000 Palms. So that's it. Let's see, and then I know they were worried about ISO ratings in Indio Hills. I don't know if you guys have no issues with ISO ratings or concerns. The insurance service office, like when it comes to insurance, and I know everybody, especially with the Palisades fires, everybody's worried about the insurance rates going up, and because I had a person call me about the insurance rating, why it's so high, because they live in a wildland area. I'm like, well, you don't really live, but you kind of are, but the insurance companies are getting real greedy right now because of what happened in LA and Santa winds and now everyone's, but there's different ISO ratings. I didn't know if anybody had a question about that or if anybody had insurance purposes. So, okay, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no
Welcome back.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move. Oh, I do wanna say, if anybody has an issue, Tabitha, you're recording, correct?
I'm live streaming.
Anybody have any issue?
It's a public meeting.
I'm just letting the
I
public
know.
know. So everybody's okay with being live streamed? Okay, thank you. All right, so, we're gonna move on. We have no one from Animal Services, correct? David Alvarez, no?
Can I leave a note on the animal services?
Excuse me?
Go ahead, Tabitha.
I left a sheet up there with some red. It has a QR code and a website link because we are actively tracking anyone who's found dogs or sighted dogs because we've had an increase in dump dogs in the Sky Valley, Indio Hills area to determine if we were able to take them to the shelter, if they were turned away, if people were rehoming them on their own, so we can at least get some data for our area and address it wherever we can.
So, Dave sent me a great email yesterday. Sam, I won't be at tomorrow's committee meeting. However, please share my notes with the CSA 104 committee. So I am not Dave Alvarez, but I'm going to be reading his notes. Dave and I did go, we drove around earlier this month. He toured me through Sky Valley and some of the roads that we thought needed some attention. And we, together, kind of confirmed, we have a list of 10 areas that we think may need further attention. He's going to send that list on to the county and get some estimates. Of these 10 areas, 2 of them are chip seal, which is a little beefed up, a little more of an impact. And those 2 are going to be held until after the spring rains. So if I read chip seal on this list, that project probably won't happen until the summer. And we've got to get estimates on all of this before we proceed. But here we go. On our drive on January the 6th, the following areas were revealed that may need further attention. Number 1, Jay and Marilyn, I hope you're listening. Helms Road, White Canyon to Prospect Road, grade and compact, as well as smoothing the intersection approaches heading north on White Canyon. Number 2, Prospect Road, pothole and edge patching from Dillon south to 18th Avenue. Number 3, Dowell Road, at Dillon Road, pothole patching. 4, Sky Ridge Road, 18th Avenue south, we're going to be grading and compacting. Number 5, Henry Road to 22nd Street, chip seal. So that's one that we're going to take a second look at, get a major estimate on before we decide to move ahead. Number 6, Larson Road, our favorite road, to 18th Avenue, grade and compact and clean out the culverts. After the last storm, there was quite a bit of mud that got washed down there, and some of those culverts are about half full. So, all right. Number 6, Lamel Road at 18th. grade and compact. Number 8, Sky Valley Drive, a possible chip seal. Number 9, 19th Avenue, VB Road to Ford Avenue, pothole patching.
Thank you.
And number 10, Ford Avenue, south of 19th Avenue, grade and compact. That's the Big 10 right now. I have to stress, I am not Dave Alvarez, but Dave's email is right here, as well as his phone number, and I'll read it out loud if anybody needs it. Dave said to me when we were touring around, people should call me if they want attention to their street. He's the one who really puts the list together. So I'm reading for him tonight, but there it is. Yes.
You can also send me a request. I know I have 2 in the queue that I have to forward over to David, but when I get requests from the community, I just forward them to David. He puts it on his list also.
Just on this same note, I was curious, Tabitha, did the culverts hold through the rains?
Yeah, they've actually held
Okay,
up pretty
right.
well.
I was gonna ask him, because I couldn't really tell.
If we have any artists though, most of that's not mud and it's actually clay. So you can go source that.
But it didn't hold, didn't wash out.
No, I'm shocked. Yeah, they did a good
I'm
job.
thrilled.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that during the rain.
yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, any other CSA issues, or?
You know what, I'm just gonna take a second or two. Dave Alvarez, 951-955-3313, and his email is dalvarez@rivco.org.
Okay, we're good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to, public health, Ms. Stacy Ramirez. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hi, good evening, council and community members. I'm Daisy Ramirez Bell with RUHS Public Health. I have a few announcements from RUHS. The first one that I wanted to highlight is our Rivers County Health Coalition. I've mentioned it before. We meet every 3 months. This one's going to take place on Wednesday, January 21st from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., both in person and online. We're partnering with our Bluestones Mead Valley initiative. There are 5 blue zones in Riverside County currently, Mead Valley being one of them. The city of Riverside, city of Banning, city of Palm Springs, and city of Coachella. Mead Valley is hosting us this time. The topic for this meeting is It Takes a Village, Caring for Our Elders and Maintaining Health as We Age. We have several presentations, including Alzheimer's Association, a representative from one of the senior centers in Riverside, the city of Riverside. And we're also having community partners have resource tables that will provide information. It's always a great meeting. I may be a little biased on this, but it's such a great way to connect and get resources. You can tune in person and online, and you can just scan a QR code to get that link for you to join online. So I'll have flyers up here for you to scan. I also wanted to highlight our Riverside County Data Digest. We have a monthly sample of public health data. We run a month behind, so this is December 2025, some of the topics, and I shared some before, and they're really great. One that I wanted to highlight for here is type 2 diabetes related hospital costs in Riverside County have increased due to both higher visit volume and spending per visit. Another one includes vaccine preventable disease totals and trends from 2021 to 2025. If you are applying for any grants and need any data, our epidemiology department or team, they are able to pull based on your data request. So you can send a QR code and let us know what type of data points you are looking for, and they will pull from the available data. A few months ago, I had talked about HARC. It's a local data organization, so they had sent out a survey. My dad was the lucky one that received it, so we filled it out. So if you ever get any request in the mail and you're a little iffy about it, or should I fill it out, you should, especially for any of the unincorporated communities, because that is where we get this information. So if you don't fill out that information, we don't get that, and we're not able to fully represent what is going on in the community. So I just wanted to make that announcement. We also have naloxone available for free. This is used to override overdoses due to opioid use, whether it be illicit or prescribed drugs. One of the common misconceptions that we hear is that, that's not happening. We hear, as we're hearing, like it may not be within your immediate family, but maybe a community member who may be in prescription opioids if they are overdosing or if you're, whatever it may be. If you're carrying it, we do suggest that you carry. We have trainings. I don't have the flyer with me, but I will share it out so you can tune in. We have trainings once a month, Spanish and English, all the way till May. But if you're not able to tune in, you can also go on YouTube and just type how to use naloxone, which is the common name, or Narcan, and then it'll show you a quick video on how to administer it. So I have some with me, and I also have a COVID-19 flu A and B rapid test, a 3-in-1. So these go for about $20. I have a few with me if you'd like to take some. I know we're still in the middle of respiratory season, so just take care of yourself, wash your hands, and that's it. Any questions?
I have one. Do you know how long the Narcan lasts? Do they have an expiration date on them?
It does. This one is until December 2027. There are some restrictions when it comes to keeping it at room temperature. For example, it says here 36 degrees Fahrenheit to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So some of the questions that I've had is, can I keep it in my car? During the winter, maybe, but during the summer, when it reaches really high temperatures, it's not wise to keep it in your car. But there's 2 per box, so if one dose doesn't cost any effect for that individual, you can administer the second. And those trainings have that information. Or in the video, it will show you how to position the person, putting them on the side, administering. Yeah. Any other questions?
For anybody else? No?
And Jill will need to back up, I'm sorry.
Oh,
You guys can tell I'm a rookie because Dave gave us some critical data that I forgot to mention.
oh man.
Yeah, here we go. Sorry. Back on roads. CSA 104. Our fund has $425,000 in it right now. We're expecting another $180,000 in revenue between February and April. 2 allotments that will amount to $180,000 this month. So, yeah, when I add that together in my head, that's about just over $600K. So, anyway, critical data, I wanted to let everybody know. I'm done.
That wasn't so bad.
No.
Okay, all right, Emergency Management Department. Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Jessica Prieto with Riverside County Emergency Management Department. I'm covering for Josh. He's out on medical leave right now, but he wants to wish you all a Happy New Year, and he'll be back as soon as he can. For our department, not too many big updates. We did send out messaging during the winter storms, like rainstorms during Christmas and New Year's. We sent out for the Riverside, the river bottom, and then out here for the Whitewater Channel. Just alerting people that, the area is prone to flooding and then to be careful. Most of the time, people underestimate how deep the water is, and they'll just go through it, and then fire can attest to that. They've done multiple swiftwater rescues. So we just want to make sure that everybody's alert, and then with spring rains coming, make sure that we are alert. And then also you can sign up for ripcoready.org to receive these alerts. And they'll cover fire, they cover rainstorms, and then public safety power shutoffs. So just for all of you to be aware, you can always sign up or go to our website, and then we do have more information on how to be prepared, as well as how to make a preparedness kit. And we cover various other topics. Any questions?
Anybody questions? Okay, all right,
Yeah.
go ahead, thank you so much. Next we're going to go to Transportation Land Management. Anything for us?
Yes, I just want to bring to your attention, last month, a couple of residents were expanding their property by covering up the natural water flows. We did get in contact with our code enforcement team, and they went out there, and they didn't have to cite them, they went ahead and complied. But if you guys see anybody out there doing that, I mean, it's not to the community best interest to do that. Water's gonna back up on the road, somebody's gonna lose control, and there we go, so we don't want any of that. So if you see that, please call code enforcement first, or us, transportation, we work as a team, and we'll handle it. So that's the only announcement I have. Other than that, David always does a great job.
Thank you. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Jesse. So last meeting, we had a resident from Sky Valley Resort that, let us aware, if you remember, about the turnouts that, Sky Valley Resort was looking to, get a process going. I sent it over to Dennis, a couple months ago. I was wondering if you knew anything about it, or can you get us an update?
I will have to get you an update on that, so, yeah, I missed that.
And it's mostly, westbound, because, as you know,
Mhm.
2 lanes here. There's a turnout in front of the resort eastbound, but there isn't, westbound, and so folks get worried because people are coming up behind them full speed, and, you hopefully time it where you turn before they get onto your bumper.
Okay,
So that's what, his concern was.
I'll definitely have to give you an update on that.
Thank you.
Since you're trash, so I have a comment for Matt, hopefully we can do something about maybe signs. There used to be a lot of high brights at night. Now we have these ridiculously illegal bright LEDs now. But people are running their brights on top of it. So the glare is so intense, you can't see what's in front of you unless you just block out, and then you can't see half the road, or whether somebody's turning in front of you. So if you could put up some signs, or whatever you can do, talk to somebody to make a difference. I did call the CHP and said, there's nothing we can do, because the cars, the manufacturers are making it that way. I disagree. You can cite the people doing this, and they will get pissed off at the car makers, and that's how the change will be made. But if you can do anything with road signs, that'd be appreciated, or any.
So it's supposed to turn right up like that.
Okay.
They have LED lights.
You mean like watch the brights or?
Yeah, keep the price down, people don't click them off, it's supposed to be 600 feet.
Yeah.
They don't.
I get all the
It's
lights.
insane.
Really, they're terrible. All right.
So if you could do something about it, that's, I'm just planting a seed, hopefully it'll sprout somewhere.
We'll look into that, definitely, communicate with you more on that, so, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing else, okay. Next up, we have, Office of Supervisor Perez, back to work.
Hi, good evening, happy New Year.
Good year.
So this morning we had a Board of Supervisors meeting, and Chairman Supervisor Perez transferred the chairmanship to Supervisor Spiegel. So he's no longer the chair. Somebody else now. Also last month Supervisor held the State of the County at the Upshur Arena. Very well attended event. If you weren't able to make it, I was just thinking I could probably send the community a link to the event, so you can see all the report outs that the county did over this past year on all their efforts to improve our county. So I brought a couple of flyers. Like last year, this is the second year that we're going to hold the budget survey and budget meetings in the community. I have a flyer about responding to their survey. So if you could take a flyer or take a look on the distribution notice I sent, and click on the flyer, and again, we're asking you for what you feel the priority should be for your community and the county. Also brought a very timely flyer on the Foundation General Plan Amendment process. So there's going to be a workshop potentially changing some of the policies because State of California has updated their efforts to create more housing. And so that has forced us to take a look at how we're going to deal with some of these stressors of affordable housing, more development. And so everybody's invited to participate in this GPA workshop on February 4th at 9 a.m. in Riverside. However, you can join virtually. You don't have to show up in person, you can join virtually. And so that's what I recommend if you can't get there. Also,
Moment on that, but actually a follow-up question on that. So, can you participate, can you sign up to comment the way you can
Yes.
for other, through the regular process,
yes.
sending a request in advance and sending a request? Okay, you can do that for that meeting. Okay. Thank you.
I also brought a Sunline Transit Agency flyer. They're also looking to get your feedback on their survey. Obviously, you'll see about your transportation, their daily rides, all of your input they're asking for.
On the meeting for the foundation, GPA, that's the process that we're in the middle of, where we have developers that have proposed, I just want to be sure everyone's clear on what we're talking about, that the developers that have proposed increasing density. This process that's used is being looked at.
Yes.
Could you send us a copy of the proposal of what they're wanting to make this process look at? Because I saw that it's no longer gonna be every 8 years. Is it just gonna be all the time now?
Yes.
They've
What
not
are the
decided,
proposals?
they've not decided on anything. There is no proposal that I know of that's in writing. It's pretty much like our budget surveys. Tell us what you wanna see. We're open-minded. You know, we have developers saying that, you know, they don't want it to be 8 years, they want it to be some other years, less. I'm pretty much, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Consistently, you know, and so my suggestion is think about the process that you've all gone through this past year and stop being developed. What were, you know, some of the things that drove you crazy? I know one of them is having to drive to Riverside. So that was one of my suggestions, is why can't we have these hearings here in the Coachella Valley that deal with Coachella Valley development? Also, we don't want to drive to Riverside the day after Coachella Festival. We don't want to be trapped in traffic with everybody trying to get to Riverside. So things like that. Think about the things that you feel, you know, need to be changed or updated, or provide the community with some sort of certainty that they can depend on.
May I ask you, just to follow up then, if, you know, the budget presentations are kind of, there's a lot of kind of more informal, back and forth and questions and things like that. Is that how this workshop is gonna be held? Or is it one of those things where you get 2 minutes to make a statement and that's it?
I don't know, but I can ask. I don't know what the agenda or how we're going to, you know, run the meeting. I don't really know, but I can ask.
Because you see, because if there's a possibility that it could be function like a real workshop,
Okay.
not like,
That's a good point. I think this is
I think what's productive about the budget meetings that I was real back and forth and kind of follow-up and all that kind of stuff.
Two questions also. How is the public being made aware of this, since it's supposed to have a lot of public input? We're getting to know, thankfully because of you, but how is the general public being made aware of this, or are they?
So, supervisor asked us staff to not only come to the communities, but also to put it on social media and do a press release.
Cool.
So we'll, you know, make an effort to do as much outreach as possible to let folks know, and the city, because
Yeah.
they have buildings.
And everybody let your neighbors know also, you know, as we're here, that's what I was gonna say. Last thing, from what I understand, the 2 general plan amendments that we're gonna talk about later that are still, pending for Sky Valley, those are not gonna follow these changes. They're already in, if I'm wrong, if you're correct me, from what I understood, they still have, doesn't mean they can't come back, but from where they are, they still have to finish with this process, so. As long as we're talking about it. Throw that in.
I think that's it for me. There's a couple of other flyers, no, I think that's it.
Are you in the local office or you downtown?
La Quinta, we're in La Quinta, Board of Supervisors meeting.
Yes.
Just to compliment those on the Sky Valley Community Council and community members who've made that drive to Riverside multiple times, representing all of us and the many who aren't here tonight. So I really want to give them a hand for their endless hours prepping, background information, sharing it with us. So Happy New Year. Have written, and maybe, you know, we all should take one of the flyers and express our opinion to what's the possible gap in bringing the GPA up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys.
Sorry, real quick, because we're on
Is it about CSA?
No. No, we're on the CSA now. This all started because happenstance. I happened to be at a meeting and somebody happened to mention, hey, I've got a flyer from the county about a zoning change. Nobody knew anything about it. So I do plan to attend. I hope others will attend. But my main focus is going to be public notice. The public has a right to know what's being proposed by these developers. And how do we know? How do we find out? So, you know, along with driving to Riverside, which is a exactly right. But just the general notice, I think, needs some attention as well. So when we're thinking about how can this process be modified, I would throw that into the mix as well.
And if you're having a meeting on a Tuesday at 9, we need more than 3 days notice. Really, to be able to go. So, but we were going to discuss this during this. Let's, if we can, let's pull it back in. We have some new business to attend to, so we can get these folks out of here, and we can discuss it a little more there. We were going to talk about maybe brainstorming some of the ideas we do want to discuss. Okay. All right, we're moving on. So thank you so much, everybody, and thank you, Marilyn. Let's go ahead and move on to new business. We have Coachella Valley Water District General Manager Jim Barrett giving an informational presentation.
Here we go.
Wherever's comfortable for you.
Okay.
Wherever you're comfortable.
This is good. Eye contact. Thanks for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you. Some of you may know, one of the reasons why I'm here is because CVWD staff has made a recommendation that the ID8 Improvement District 8 water system that provides drinking water service to a small part of Desert Hot Springs, but the community of Garnet, the community of Desert Edge, community of Sky Valley, its community of Indian Hills, be transferred to Mission Springs Water District. I'm not here to try and convince you that staff's recommendation is the right one, but I am here to share some information which we think is important to the decision that you need to consider. It's just 4 things. First thing is that the ID8 system is completely independent and separated from the rest of the Coachella Valley water system. So under California state law, that means the cost of operating this system is solely paid by the beneficial users of that system, the ratepayers of small part of Desert Hot Springs, Community Garnet, Desert Edge, Sky Valley, and Indian Hills. That's kind of the first thing. The operating expenses are paid by the ratepayers in those areas. The second thing is that the state of California has required recently that all water agencies reduce the amount of hexavalent chromium-6, in drinking water to 10 parts per billion. That's 10 drops in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, which is like 25 meters by 50 meters by 2 meters. It's like 660,000 gallons, roughly. 10 drops in 660,000 gallons. There are 4 wells that serve the ID8 system. The Chrome 6 in those wells ranges from 10.4 to 12.5. A preliminary estimate on the cost of remediating that chrome to bring it back into standard is about $25 million. When we're able to get financing for that, that cost is going to get passed on to the ratepayers to the tune of about $85 a month, regardless of how much water you use. And that gets added to the amount of water you use, added to the monthly service charge, $85 a month. we've looked at what an alternative might be to try and connect the ID8 system to the rest of the Coachella Valley Water District. That cost estimate is upwards around $40 million. So it tends to make more sense to try and remediate for the Chrome 6. That's kind of the bad news. What we consider to be the good news is that Mission Springs Water District has water available to supply the ID8 system that is within the Chrome 6 standard. No cost to remediate for Chrome 6. There would still be the cost to connect, but we understand, talking to the state of California, that there is money available under a program that they have called the Safe Affordable Drinking Water Fund, and this particular process is called consolidation, where we would work with the state and with Mission Springs to consolidate the ID8 system onto Mission Springs. So, that's kind of it, the 4 points. Dan, there's a problem, the cost is borne by the ratepayers. There's a problem with Chrome 6. Mission Springs has water that doesn't have Chrome 6, and the state has a program that will allow us to get some funding to do the connection. So we understand that Mission Springs has a different rate structure.
Yes.
But our rate structure at CVWD will change because of the Chrome 6.
Their water has been tested consistently to be worse than Coachella Valley Water District, in addition to having their water supply sources shut down and being sued by the residents in the city of Desert Hot Springs. So I wouldn't necessarily agree with your statement that they have less chromium 6 in their water.
There's a number of constituents, as you probably know, in drinking water. There's a number of agencies out there that take exception to the drinking water standards that different states apply. The federal standard is not as strong as the California standard. California is the only one that has a standard that low for Chrome 6. If it was like 25 parts per billion, we'd be fine, we wouldn't have to do anything. But the fact that it's now 10 parts per billion creates the need to remediate that, which then is a cost that gets passed on to the ratepayers.
So this has nothing, there's no consideration being brought in for the fact that the city of DHS is pushing for this so that they can do development further down on Palm?
That comes into the discussion, but that's not one of the primary drivers. I mean, we're looking at the impact to the ratepayers. If there are benefits to other parties, why couldn't we consider that as well? But right now, what I'm trying to say is that there's a way to avoid the cost of remediating for Chrome 6. There's a way to avoid the cost of connecting the Mission Springs Water District. Those costs will be real costs.
Right. And how much has the Coachella Valley Water District already been paid by the ratepayers on ID8 for the infrastructure improvements that are already needed?
Can we let him finish, and then we'll
So
open
that's
up
it.
questions?
I'm pretty much done.
Okay.
So there are reserves within the domestic water system for 6 different categories. If you were to look at the percentage of accounts on the ID8 system, it's 2% of the total counts within the CVWD service area. That 2% of all the domestic reserves, and right now we are below our assigned reserve target. The amount of money, if we just take 2% of that, it's less than $800,000, which is not going to solve the Chrome 6 problem, which is estimated to be $25 million.
So, but that's in reserves. How much has already been paid into the infrastructure improvements that are supposed to have already happened?
So we have a capital program, which either gets funded through financing, and again, the financing is paid by the ratepayers.
Right.
Under ID8, if there were improvement projects that were in the capital program for ID8, those costs would be borne by the ratepayers in ID8.
But my understanding is that we as ratepayers have already paid into that.
Can we give somebody else a chance?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have. I'm not here to be defensive about anything. I'm just trying to provide information.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. So what type of timeline has the state given the water districts to come into compliance?
Well, because ID8 is considered a smaller system, they have until October 1st of 2027. Right now, we think we can get we'll get the design request for proposals out by the middle of this year. It'll take about 18 months to design and fix for ID8. And we think we'll be able to start construction, assuming we get acceptable financing, by 2030. So it doesn't comply with the state's deadline, but as long as we're operating on a state-approved compliance plan, we're okay.
And so that's the thought going forward is 2030.
Correct. To start construction, if construction is needed to remediate to the current city.
And so this is a plan someone agreed to by both water districts?
It's still under consideration.
Mission Springs was supposed to be here tonight, but they backed out.
No, that was my error.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was my error. I thought that
Okay.
they would be giving a presentation as well,
I
but
see.
it was that they would have staff here just to
Fair
kind of,
Jim, there was talk of a shared solution where CBWD would provide the water and Mission Springs would process the water. What happened to that solution?
So I think you may be referring to what we described as replenishment.
No, it was for,
Yes.
it had to do with, we were at the meeting when this was all
Right,
discussed.
right, you look familiar.
That they were talking about, it had come up, at least, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I heard the same thing that Tabitha did, that this basically came into being because Desert Hot Springs wants to develop down by the freeway. And so there was all the discussion back and forth, and they talked about, it was not called a shared, it was the two agencies working together to provide the service down by the freeway and leaving us all out of it,
Right.
is what was discussed when we were at the meeting.
Yeah.
And, because we all have the concerns that Mission Springs is more costly,
Mhm.
that they've had a lot of issues with customer satisfaction and all of that. So when we left the meeting, CBWD said that they would table it until Mission Springs made a presentation and moved forward with that. So
Correct.
Yeah.
that's where I thought we left off.
And I think that's probably a good recap. What I'm trying to do tonight is to divorce those Desert Hot Springs issues and development issues from what we see is more of a direct impact onto the ratepayers of IDA. We're not proposing that you connect to the sanitation system that Mission Springs built. We're not proposing that you get involved in Desert Hot Springs development issues.
Yeah.
What we're trying to say is, the state has told us we have to fix the Chrome 6 problem in the IDA system. And to us, it seems to make sense economically to look at an opportunity that is available through Mission Springs. I'm not saying Mission Springs is perfect. I mean, Lord knows CBWD is not perfect.
Oh, you guys.
I mean, I got over.
We love you now, we love you.
You are loved.
Yes. Very happy with our service out here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate the fact that, you know, you have tried to cast stones against Mission Springs because of lawsuits. I've got over 35 lawsuits now. More than 20 of them are challenges to the rate system. So, I mean, it just happens, that's the business we're in.
Jim, the solution you're proposing is very black and white. We break away or we don't. When we were at the general meeting, it seemed to me the shared solution was more of an idea where Mission Springs could provide purer water, if you will, to mix with our contaminated water, if you will, to come up with a water that's acceptable as a side benefit.
You know, I don't see that, I don't recall that.
Well,
what we-
no,
It's on
that was
YouTube.
discussed until among others. But it is a benefit of joining up with Mission Springs.
So, from my perspective, the system is separate, and it will stay separate unless Mission Springs wants to take it over. There's really doesn't make much sense for us to take water that's got Chrome 6 in it, that has to be remediated at $25 million estimated, and give it to Mission Springs to put back into the ID8 system. Maybe I'm not understanding the issue.
To mix with
Mission
the
Springs water,
existing
which doesn't.
contaminated
Then you
water.
change the size of the pool.
I would just like, can I just say it's not contaminated water?
Yeah.
So
No,
it's
fair
naturally
enough. Fair
occurring,
enough. It's
chromium
just a
6,
simplistic.
the state has a very low MCL, lower,
I couldn't agree more.
so I drink it every day.
I agree.
Sorry, what it's talking about. But thanks for the translation.
The idea of the shared solution had benefits for both sides.
And I thought that was,
That have water that could be mixed.
I thought that was sanitation being provided by,
Right.
along the new developments.
Yeah,
And
that,
then,
Yes.
We
and
don't,
then us providing water.
we're unsanitary, we don't, we have septic tanks.
No, no, for the new development.
I don't know if the board is taking questions from the chair, it's not my meeting.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a question. You mentioned the California state grant
Yes,
that could be used to connect us to.
consolidation, yes.
Could that same grant be used to connect us to CBWD for the 40 million that it takes to make us into that and make it a little more of a divided, cost for our,
Yeah,
Fund
I-
6 remediation?
We've asked that question, and the state has been very evasive in the answer. It is not the purpose of that program to allow water districts to consolidate within themselves. What they're looking at is opportunities to take smaller systems that have problems and connect them to systems that can solve those problems. So yes, it would work for us, but it costs more for the state to connect 98 to us than it would cost to connect to Mission Springs.
Right, but we are really a part of it. You know, I mean, it was all about the beginning. This is your facility, these are your wells. And although it's more distance, it seems the exact use of it. We are a rural, underserved area that got services and we're far away. You're a very big service. We're really better to be part of you as a very big service. It creates a lot more stability for our rural area. And it seems like it would be a good use of that.
The state has not said.
Either way.
No, they have said Mission Springs is a good fit, but when we ask about connecting to ourselves, they're just, that's a good question,
It is.
but they don't give us an answer.
Well,
It's a very competitive environment, so we have to also be guarded in how we pursue this, because we might lose on both. They may decide, well, you know, you guys, you know, you figure out what it is you want to do, and if there's money available, when you decide, then maybe we can help solve the problem. But the state's only got so much money, and there's money available then. So, I don't know how to answer that question.
We're gonna take a couple more questions, and then we'll, yes, you guys.
So there's the cost of connecting to Mission Springs,
Yes,
period, just generally, and getting their water, access to their water that needs to stand.
yes.
Okay, that's one cost.
I don't know that cost, but yes.
Okay, that's one cost. I'm somehow thinking that there was a second cost.
Well, there is a cost to remediate for the Chrome 6 if it stays with us. If we go to Mission Springs, that goes away. There's a cost of connecting to us from ID8, and we know that cost, that's $40 million. I don't know the cost of connecting to Mission Springs, but that's gonna be paid for by the state.
Okay, and you're pretty confident about that.
We have talked to them 3 times, and they seem supportive of moving forward. What we're waiting on now is for the 2 water district boards to decide how to move forward. And my board's waiting on their board is considered. And once the boards come together, if they come together, we then have to formalize the application to the state under the consolidation program for the safe and affordable drinking water fund. So,
And one more.
Well, I'm just very confused. So we have this contaminated water.
No, not.
Not contaminated.
Yeah. That we're gonna have to fix if we stay with you. What happens to that water if we don't stay with you? And what happens when Mission Springs says, oh, we're running out of water because we have so many customers, we're gonna have to raise our rates?
That's the big concern, it's the great cost of it.
I can't answer that question. I can tell you that what happens with the water is if we're not pumping it up to put into the system, stays in the ground. It's in the outlet.
Are we going to get a presentation from Mission Springs? I mean, or,
Sir?
does anybody know? Are we gonna?
How many miles is it to connect to your system on the other side of the hill?
So that's $40
Versus
million.
how many miles from here to Mission Springs?
Yeah.
It's probably a lot closer. So I see the difference in
Yes.
cost is gonna be substantial.
Well, we've also got a significant rise in elevation. So you've got 500 foot of elevation that's got to make up.
You're gonna
And that's continuing electrical operation and maintenance costs. But it's about 8 miles, depending on where you connect, or what we probably have to do is connect to where most of the feed is coming from, where the 4 wells are, because that's the way the lines are designed, to feed downgrade. And then we've got there's storage, reservoirs. I mean, we transfer.
We're the back row through. We're the back row through.
Yeah, I know, we've got one more. Leisha?
Who makes this final decision? Is it you two boards, or do we get a say in it?
What you, both our boards are public agencies, we go through a public notification process. But typically, it's up to the boards.
So I want to add.
Wait, sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, what you're saying is, being a public board, you listen to our input, but ultimately, you are the bottom line making the decision. Not you,
I'm
two
not a
boards.
board member.
I
so I'm
mean, you
not the
meaning
decision
two
maker.
boards.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna just add to that really quick. It actually has to go to LAFCO, and we as the public and the constituents involved in this have a voice. I put a flyer up there because I plan on having a meeting on Saturday at 10 o'clock on Larson about this, so that we're all informed to our rights.
Okay, we've got one more question and then we're gonna, if we
Okay.
can.
I have a couple completely different questions on this subject. Is this affecting all the public water? How does it affect the people who have their own wells?
Yeah, so if
And-
you have your own drinking water well, there, you hopefully get it tested for these
Yeah.
constituents.
And I have a second part to that question. For over 30 years, we were on a large farm that we had our own wells, and they tested in excess for fluoride. And the state came in and just made us put a reverse osmosis system on it, and that fixed it. We didn't have any more extra fluoride. That was a very inexpensive cost. Will chromium-6 work the same way? Is it responsive to reverse osmosis?
Yeah, we will not use reverse osmosis because it is too expensive for the volume of water that we have to deal with.
Are you talking about each individual homeowner doing that?
Yeah, we're talking Sky Valley here.
Yeah,
We're on a
Well,
5-acre minimum, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
we're not
far.
talking,
For now.
we're not talking thousands of condos.
Yeah,
We're
so
talking 5-acre farms and houses here.
if you have your own well, I'm not gonna tell you how to manage that drinking water. But what I can tell you is that the state will not authorize us to use point-of-use filtration. So if you wanted to put if the solution for Sky Valley was go buy a bunch of reverse osmosis machines and hook them up to the kitchen sink, because that's where your drinking water would come from. They don't see that as a long-term solution.
I only see it as an under $300 solution.
So,
$85 a month will buy me this for the rest of my life.
But again, if you've got your own private well, we're not gonna come in and tell you what to do.
well, I think the point was, if people in their own private homes that were CVWD users wanted to do that, I think, is that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. If that seemed like a lot less expensive, but, so this is a continuing conversation. This was just that was a question. That was a question. Is it a continuing conversation with you guys? Is this gonna be discussed at your boards further? And, because a lot of us have signed up for the newsletter so that we could, we would like to stay up on this and not just have it all happen with, then all of a sudden we're notified that it's done. I think you can tell, we don't wanna break up with you. I'm sure.
But I think, yes, it is our intent to make sure that this is a public process. we do feel there are some better options than there are others. And as you know, having been to our last public process meeting, we're waiting. We're waiting for Mission Springs. And once Mission Springs takes a position, it'll come back to my board to decide, what are the terms of that position that they've taken? Is it still acceptable to my board to move forward? Then we have to, and I'm sure if Mission Springs were to make a decision to move forward with this, it would be contingent upon receiving the funds that the state might have available for consolidation. I don't think they want to take this on and then have to wind up spending more money. But at least the fact that the state has consolidation funds takes away the cost of connecting.
Quick question, is it just Sky Valley water, or is it all of Coachella Valley water?
It's all, so it's not all of Coachella Valley water. We have about 95 production wells to service our entire area, and about 1/3 of those are impacted by Chrome 6. The cost of that is about $350 million altogether. Take the ID8 piece out, it's still $325 million. And so what we're doing is looking at opportunities where we can take wells offline and feed from other areas. We're very decentralized, so we don't have a central treatment plant somewhere. We're a small pipe system because we've got so many wells. So what we're looking at is opportunities to maybe treat a certain number of wells in an area, but we'll probably wind up drilling new wells. I think it's 11 new wells we have to drill, that then we'll try and feed in.
Well, we're such a big area here. Are there any new well areas in all of our I-8 zone
That would be not,
that would
Yeah,
have a
no.
lower level?
it takes time to explore that. The fact that the entire system is only fed from one small corner and then fed downstream, I would have to guess that someone along the way tested to see whether the water was acceptable. But I don't have that information.
Jim, what's the cost of drilling a well?
Depending on how it's outfitted and how deep you have to go, it can be upwards of $2 million,
Thank you.
2 to 5 million.
I think
If
we
we had an
we've just solved our problem. Okay, one final question, and then we're gonna, this is gonna be an ongoing thing, so Cindy.
There was
Good.
a test well drilled south of Dillon Estates behind Mission Springs Water District's poop plant. And I got the data from what they ran on that well, and I compared it to the ID number 8 data results. What I'd like to say is if you're a private well owner, then you should be looking at that data, compare it to the confidence report that CVWD puts out, which is what they represent for the ID number 8, and look at specifically arsenic, fluoride, and the hex chromium 6 for those results. You can, as a well owner, CVWD offers this as a nominal fee, pick up on Tuesdays between 8:30 and 11:30 a test bottle, and then ask them to look for certain items before you go and invest in an osmosis system, and see if your results are within safety limits according to what they have. All of this is probably under their CVWD website under About Us.
Are there going to be any more meetings regarding this topic?
Would you like more meetings? With our board, we will have a meeting once we hear what Mission Springs is interested in doing. Until that time, we're kind of on hold. So we're proceeding with our compliance plan, which we submitted to the state, which is still not approved. But that compliance plan talks about the $25 million for the new DSD system as a CVWD responsibility.
Okay, I lied, one more question, it's me. I'm sorry, I was thinking.
Chair's prerogative.
It's so good, it's so good to be in control. So, it's not fleeting enough, you have no idea how long we've been sitting here. So for the rest of the valley, you said it's $350 million, we're only $25 million of that?
Yes.
So they're all gonna take those costs also? So we're the only people that are being carved out to be siphoned off to somebody else?
Yes.
So, again, the first point is you are separate.
Yes, I understand.
And so the rest of the Coachella Valley will have a cost to pay
Right.
for the remediation of those 33 wells. You won't participate in that, they won't participate in yours.
Yeah, well, maybe they should. Because, I mean, you've been providing, I've been here 40 years. And you've been providing our service. And that's why I don't want to go from CBW. You guys have provided great service at a decent cost and, anyway, so.
Since 1962 or 63.
See, you shouldn't. It's not time for divorce. Yeah, thank you very much. If divorce is ours,
We'll stay in touch.
Congratulations.
So we're gonna leave.
You survived.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, sir.
Were all those people CBWD? Was all those people CBWD?
They were on before we can get to.
They were at my meeting too. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're gonna have a meeting
To tell you what
to tell you what they decided.
Look like lawyers to me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So they're here to see how far they can push us as a community.
Exactly.
Yeah, this was a
All right.
And that's exactly what this was.
Well, I warned them about Sky Valley.
Huh?
I warned them about Sky
Oh,
Valley.
we showed up at the last meeting and they tabled it because of it, but they're not tabling it. They discussed it this morning.
Oh.
We're gonna talk, I did go ahead and email, the two planners for the two general plan amendments that are still moving down the pipeline. There is no date as of this time for, the one on Bennett to go to Board of Supervisors, and they, the other one, they're not sure if they want to revise it or continue to try to move forward as it is, which is still waiting to go to Planning Commission. As I said, these are going to stay through this process. They may, if it's not 8 years anymore, they have the ability to bring it up again, but as it is right now, we're kind of at a standstill. And, they've told us we can go ahead and check the website. I'm going to continue to email the planners because, like I said, it only gives us 3 days notice, and that's not enough time if someone wants to take time off work to go. So we are going to stay on top of it. I'm sure. It's not that hard. Just an email saying, hey, anything going on? They say, no, it's not. Thank you. You can check the website. I say, thank you. I'll be back in touch. And that's kind of how we're moving forward. So we're still at a standstill at this point on the two. Excuse me? Same owner, yes. Same owner, two different planners. So we will keep you posted. And then Noel was going to talk a little bit about this workshop.
Continue this discussion about taking advantage of this workshop opportunity to the extent it truly is a workshop and so brainstorming, those things that we think need to be addressed, and notice is certainly a big factor. Just a footnote here that we learned from we asked the planners, one of the planners, the new one that came in.
Mr. Lincoln,
Mr. Lincoln, whether there's any kind of a sunset provision in terms of how long the person who's made an application for the amendment, and whether, like with permits, and if you don't act on it within a certain period of time, the permit expires. And the answer that I got from him is, no, there is no limit. So it could be in limbo for, the rest of the 8-year period, technically, the way the current system is. And I went and looked at the current, planning documents, and there isn't anything that says there's they have to act within a certain period of time or their application lapses. So that's just another little factor to think about. So other thoughts, notice, it seems to me that, and as Pat said, the place for the hearing, since it's extremely difficult for us to on a regular basis get there, especially at the time that the hearings are held. Other things, that you thought about and gnashed your teeth over. Yeah.
So from the affordable housing requirements that counties and municipal areas are required to have, California has now passed, I don't remember the specific number for the bill, but that allows us to build our own ADUs. So that in our area could be a point of like in more rural areas, because we can do ADUs on our property. There's not necessarily a need for a development because we're already in an underserviced area, and I just wanted to add that to a talking point to the workshop.
That one comment had a lot of weight in front of one of the meetings that we went to.
Yeah.
So, excellent point.
Yeah.
And the bill that passed that, for, the one that I don't have the number of either, but it does not apply to our area. That is only to more urban areas, and that did come up also. So that does, so I don't really know how much of an effect that, excuse me?
I was gonna say the change that just came this month.
Yeah, it does not affect Sky Valley. I mean, the ADU.
It doesn't affect Sky Valley, but it's in Riverside County, so it could be a
Yes.
push point for, they could adopt that practice to allow us to develop our own ADUs, and then that's
Oh,
not a
yes,
concern
I'm
in
not
our area.
ADUs, I was talking about the, do you know the bill that I'm talking about, where they've got a, you know what I'm talking about, where they can.
Oh, for affordable housing bills.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I'm hoping that we're far out enough that, you know, the cost of trying to do any kind of large scale
Right.
development out here is gonna protect us.
Well, there's no jobs out here.
There's no infrastructure for low-income housing. So.
I'm really hoping that we can also get some things added into the general plan amendment change that isn't just all to favor the developers.
Right.
Because it's been really, really difficult for this community, as I'm sure all of them. So those are the things I'm hoping that we're all gonna bring up if we attend. And things, you know, maybe we should do a think tank and then have a email back and forth about these ideas, because we need to put forth some ideas to help the communities as well.
And one of the things they're supposed to be going to talk about is strengthening eligibility criteria. That certainly would be appropriate, since there is a criteria set forth in the current plan, but none of the proposed amendments in any way address the elements that they're supposed to address that would justify the amendment that they're requesting. So that's another factor, that they are apparently strengthen eligibility requirements, simplify amendment types.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Say it again. It says simplify amendment types.
It's to make it easier for the developers. obviously.
Check off boxes.
Yeah, that's what everything looks like, everything is.
It's very simple.
Lisa, yes.
One issue that I think is important, they're allowed to change and modify this
Yes.
at any point all through. There's no
Even during the meeting.
presentation of
Right.
information to us. It should become a set proposal. And I really think that they kind of are building a new animal that's already been built. We used to have, if you wanted to do a proposed change, you didn't do, I'm sorry, what?
CEQA.
You would use the CEQA system. It had notification, public notification. We need very large,
Yes.
miles of notification out here, but also a real plan, a plan with specifics, like the roads are in there, the septic systems, like everything is measured out. They're putting in proposals that are absolutely impossible. There is no way to put that many houses and little streets and septic systems on that piece of, like, what are they talking about? And they've not gotten any approvals from any of the utilities that they could hook on. 500 homes, 200 homes, that they're not able to do that at the CDWD, they were telling me. So I think they need to do real proposals, not these I know it's expensive and time consuming to do these real proposals, but that's how you get to the meat and bones of what is really being proposed, and does it really fit? Is there a blue stream through the middle? Well, no houses can go there. Like, it needs to be truly worked out using the official system, and we already had the official system before. We did it every 10 years, and at any time they could come forward, but they had to use this very specific, detailed system for proposing a change, with the reason for the change and the specifications of what it would be, and that it couldn't be changed. They started through the process, and if they changed it, then you go back, and you start over. And yeah, I mean, and,
You know, the county has been fighting. And they went from, the proposal there went from, single family home to
Assisted living
an
facility.
assisted living facility. And that was like, you know, that,
in a meeting,
flipped over, like nothing. And so they're all pretty focused on this, and then suddenly it comes up with that, and it's remarkable, the way the system is, undermines anything that's sort of reasonable.
So I do feel like, we should put, we can't hash it all out tonight, but I do feel like between now and the meeting, like maybe by the end of the month, we should do an email and submit ideas and suggestions, and so that we all are kind of cohesive and because these are great, but we gotta condense it down, right? So that we're not all bringing up the same thing, just like we did before. It makes it, if you have 30 points and 30 people, that's a much more effective way to kind of go at it. So maybe we can do that here.
And that would be a part of that training, kind of could find out if it really
It's
could
gonna
be
be
a
a-
workshop format,
Right.
as opposed to.
I love email that too, because otherwise I'm not gonna bother. If you would keep me in the loop on that.
Sure.
The GPA items that went through Deseret, they said SEQA not applicable, and I questioned it, and they said it's like affordable, whatever, but this was short-term rentals,
That's
70 units on
Right.
20 acres, it's ridiculous. From my perspective, they're pushing things through like they did after the housing crisis, because the county needs money. And if you haven't been through the Winchester, Leon Road area, south of Donegal, it's investors just putting in blocks of tract houses, boom, 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 which is the same thing that apparently they're going to be doing in Palisades, is instead of rebuilding. So the point, I think, from my opinion, is that they're avoiding the multiple species habitat plan, or getting money from the multiple species habitat plan by approving these projects to go forward, which requires that they pay a certain amount, and then it's affordable housing, they probably don't.
Anyway, so let's, I think we should do that. We'll do an email, everybody can submit any kind of thing, and we'll kind of formulate a plan, but we don't have a lot of time, because it's February 4th?
It's February 4th, and we're not gonna, if it's the way it's gonna, the agenda doesn't go out, we can't, in terms of, we have to make requests, you have to know the exact thing, the exact number on the agenda that you want to talk on and stuff like that, and you can't get that until,
3 days.
until 7 days.
Is that?
Yeah.
How many days in advance can you put into it, Steve? Is this gonna be like?
I'm pretty sure, you can't, I'm sorry, you're right about the agenda comes out about a week before.
Yes. Okay, so more fun things to do in the new year. Bye.
And again, I have kind of this master email list that we can not on it. Please give me your email now, so that,
We don't have it.
we can send it to the
And please stay tuned for the CBWD stuff, I think that's gonna be a real big deal.
The homeowners association newsletter is now free this year, so if you are not signed up, you can do it online, you can contact the officers, get on the HOA newsletter for free.
Lisa, the membership checks that you send them to someone who is no community.
Absolutely.
Personal,
Email that notice to anyone you know.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Public comments, any person wishing to address the council on items not specifically on the agenda or on matters of general interest should do so at this time. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. You know I am. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, don't be. Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. My name is Sergio. I'm with Desert Healthcare District. We're also a public agency, just like a water district, a school district, any other agency. Our main thing and focus is healthcare. We serve the Coachella Valley from head to toes. You might have probably seen some of the commercials on TV, local TV, but we're going through a 5-year strategic plan renewal. On top of that, we also have Measure 8A passed in the Coachella Valley, which basically sells Desert Regional Medical Center, which is property of Desert Healthcare District for the moment being in the next 30 years, to Tenet Health who operates it later down the road. So we're going to get a significant amount of funds from that sale eventually. So we're here inviting all of the community, all our residents and taxpayers to come in and help us strategize for the next 5 years what our focus should be. We have currently, I believe, 7 goals that align with our mission as an agency. We're looking to renew those goals, make them high priority, low priority. This is where all of the residents in the Coachella Valley jump in as well. If you're interested, we have community listening sessions, and I put a bunch of flyers up here, Spanish and English. I believe the closest one to you guys will be in DHS on February 7th, from 9 to 11. We also have one in Palm Springs at the Mizell Center, February 4th, from noon to 2 p.m. But feel free to take a flyer. And we invite you all to join. There is going to be a raffle for a $200 gift card, I believe, and we'll have ASL and Spanish interpretation services available as well.
I'm so sorry.
No,
missed you. And you got this little thing. My apologies.
That's okay. No, the water issue took a whole lot of the time, so it's perfectly fine.
I'm sorry about that.
No, don't.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And your name once again?
Sergio.
Sergio.
Yes, ma'am.
Rodriguez.
Say again?
Rodriguez with a Z.
Okay. Obviously, it was at your meeting?
Yes.
I know. Okay. All right, so public comment. Yes, my dear.
Oh, there she goes.
Yeah,
May I
well,
approach,
I'm tired.
may I approach the bench? Okay, I'm here representing the Desert Edge Community Council's Ad Hoc Safety Committee, for which we've been raising concerns for quite a while about conditions of Dillon Road and some of the fatalities and accidents, etc., that have occurred in the area. My goal is to get CVAG, TLNA, and even the assessor's office together to talk about what we can do within the area, not just Desert Edge, but from Thousand Palms through Palm Drive, as far as making road improvements. So I prepared statistics, data that I received from the CHP. I analyzed it, and I included your area with grand things like a map which shows Thousand Palms, the length of Dillon Road and Desert Edge. So you get to, the Sky Valley, so you get to Desert Edge, and then so that's 8 miles, then there's like 2 miles in Desert Edge, 2 miles from Long Canyon to Mountain View, and then 1.5 to Palm Drive. The issue is that Palm Drive area, they're proposing to make improvements to Palm Drive, rather than considering that when they had all their fatalities, it was a result of them awarding the Varner Road improvements they had planned for a 2-month closure, and then the accident that occurred on Palm Drive, that was awarded and they put in a rumble strip, for which you guys know that road is a rumble strip. You can't tell the difference. So it is considered by CVAG to be a failed road, but it is also the artery, alternate route to Interstate 10, which even trucks use it when there's an incident on the interstate. So my initiative is to get road improvements to address both of our areas, but statistically then, I laid out, and somebody should do that, is like share the last packets I have. If you look at the statistics, you'll see the fatalities a person's killed is highest in Desert Edge, even though you have a greater mileage. The serious and severe injuries I include in that because you don't know when they got in that ambulance if they were still alive or were maimed and later died of their injuries. And the next category on the statistics, do you have statistics? Is crash cod, but I just chose the ones that I found most interesting, like dark and the street lights. Those are actually ones that occurred at night, for which you all have had several. But again, when you look at the statistics of yours from that CHP data that February 2014 to November 2025, your statistics are not quite double R, and yet you have double the length.
Well, you have so many more people and all the company going.
And that brings to, TLMA has decided to put up 45-mile speed limits in our area, and they're gonna be putting one of those, flashing signs. I asked them if they could program a sign to say, don't ask us to slow down, and they said, no, we can't do that.
Ding, 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 ding.
You don't want to get arrested. Anyways, there's a summary here of the initiative, and at the back of it is, differences in our population according to the assessor's office, because the assessor's office has denied and refused to acknowledge my request, as did CDAC. So that's why I'm requesting that we have a meeting and get as many people as is interested in seeing that corridor improved all the way from Drive, to address some of these issues before there are more fatalities. So this is just estimates. I couldn't get exact because I don't have access to their databases, so I just did polygon queries. Alright, so you all have to amongst yourself. I have a sign-up sheet if anybody wants to participate. I'm mostly asking for your support, continued effort, and yeah, thank you for all these minutes.
Absolutely.
Did you get a map?
Anybody else?
Did you get a map?
I did, I got it.
Did you have a map?
Any other public comments? Yes.
I did say it earlier, but I'm just gonna say it again. So Saturday at 10 o'clock at our property on Larson, we're gonna have a community meeting that will be live streamed for those who can't attend, as well as in person with snacks and stuff, to just talk about the water district thing, so everybody knows their rights and can be prepared. Because my gut feeling is that this is their conversation, and they're just testing to see how far they can push us as a community, that they're gonna make their decision, and then we're gonna have to fight the state on it. Or the county and then the state. That's it.
I'm sorry, you said, Saturday?
Saturday at 10 a.m. Obviously that'll be an ongoing thing, not just one time, but I did leave a flyer with our address and the time and my phone number up front here. And it's in English and
Flyers
Spanish.
are up here?
Yeah, right on the
Okay.
corner here.
All right, thank you, thank you. Anybody else? God, now I have to find all my papers, there's so many papers tonight. Nope, those are minutes. All right, well, I think, do we have any, agenda items for the next meeting? Can I see your comment?
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, because
March 10th.
Sorry.
Thank you. For the next meeting, March 10th, yes. Wait, is this agenda items, or, I'm sorry? That's what I was asking for. Okay, sure. Meal delivery?
Yeah, there seems to be this deal where, okay, so the post office is supposed to deliver your Amazon packages to your door.
Correct.
Well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and I get notifications that say, I'm out of bounds. Well, how come I'm sometimes out of bounds and sometimes I'm not?
Is it the shipper, or is it the?
No, the post office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Driver.
So,
Yeah, a mail carrier, and I.
It depends on the
my
carrier,
house
'cause they-
is 4/10 of a mile from where they put my box. It's 2/10 of a mile from the paved road. If I don't get my package from Amazon, then I have to drive 10 miles to Desert Hot Springs,
Yeah.
a direction I never go, and 10 miles back to get my package.
I have all the contact information,
Oh,
phone
I
numbers,
contacted them.
emails to
And
the.
I've been to the post, the lady in Desert Hot Springs.
Oh,
talked to
no.
her. Oh.
This is.
Tell her what she told
So
me.
let's
Yeah,
do
and
this.
she
Wait,
says
wait,
we
wait.
are lucky that they deliver our.
Let's bring this back a little bit. I just want to say, we could have done it on public comments, but let's put down mail delivery. We can do that. We can have all this discussion, but I'm gonna kind of let these folks get out of here, and then we can sit and talk about it. So mail delivery is one. Anybody else? Any other agenda items?
Can we add on wildfire, like abatement program that we're doing
What
with
is
our,
it?
so essentially wildfire, so the goal is to protect people's structures, so if you have a lot
Is
of
this
like,
the letter that we got from?
you should have gotten it from one of our fellows, yes.
We did, and I
Okay.
sent an email back saying, did you want to present something at the meeting, and I never heard back.
That tracks for this week.
Okay.
It is,
So that's, you
this
want,
week
that's
is-
what you wanna put on for
Yes,
next week? Okay.
yeah.
I'll put that on there.
Thank you.
Are you referring to like dispensable space inspections or LE 38?
This, yeah, I'm the one that called you and then stopped you on the side of the road.
No, I remember
yeah.
what I was saying, but that.
So essentially, like within 100 feet of a structure out here, if there's any like weed growing, plants growing, things that are going to potentially cause fires, our climate action fellows will go and remove that debris, and then we will take it to the dump to dispose of it or compost it if we can, so that it's not.
It's a service.
It's yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sure, okay. I was
Service
saying,
to help the
we
residents.
do the inspections, but I was about to say, I don't think.
No.
we do this every-
Yeah, no, this is just if you know you have a neighbor that can't
I
do
know, I
it.
thought it was such a great idea, and I
Yeah.
just never heard back.
I'm pretty glad.
This,
We'll put that on for March.
Yeah, thank you. This week
Okay.
it's been.
A lot of people actually call and ask me, do we have a service? And I said, I can't do it.
All right, so, the next good news I have is I am returning to meeting. Okay.
And we can
They take her money. So they've been taking her money and it's off of, it's on 18th Avenue, 71455. She has no power. They have had no power 30 years. She's living like a real yeah, this is her, she can't do it. And I have violations on it. And just go away. I wish I had something I could help you. We don't have an acre.
No, but we have.
I'll call you this week. Well, what's the email? So if I respond back, so I'll be able to address this like this with my control enforcement. I got a couple of way elderly candidates that I'm calling. I only have like one or two. It's not like a lot. Some of the people